Well, good day. Hello, Sacred Heart. Father Mike Leiden here, your relatively new pastor, almost here a year. Happy to welcome you back to church at this time. Especially if you're in good health and feel like you're abiding by some good strictures. We're going to be coming back to Mass this week daily, and then our first Sunday will be May 23rd, 24th, this coming Saturday, Sunday. We've roped off the pews or taped them off for every other pew, asking you to wear a face mask to gain entry in. And then once you come to your pew, you can keep it on or lower it a little bit to participate in the Mass. And just really happy to have you back here. But we need to insist on the mask and also on your cooperation with us. We're getting ready in many different ways to welcome you. It's a brave new world. And we'll be able to accommodate 200 people here in church, and then overflow will go to the gym for 150 people to live stream the Mass. And we'll bring Holy Communion over there to you as well from the Mass. So it's an opportunity to receive our Lord in the Eucharist that many of you have been hungering for. So again, welcome back, Sacred Heart. I hope you're able to make it. God bless you.
This video will be sectioned into 3 parts. The first part will deal with the general public and show everyone how we are going to proceed with things at church, how you will enter, exit, receive communion, and operate during Mass. The second section will be covering extraordinary ministers, how they are going to perform their duties. And the third section will be covering ushers and their duties as well. As you can see, we have one door open for entry. Sarah tries to enter through another door, but it is locked. So she proceeds over to the one door, which will gain you access to the church. From there, we will place you where we want you, whether that's in the church or in the gym for overflow. We will fill from the church first. When you try to enter church, please place a mask on your face. After you have placed a mask on your face, you can proceed to the seats. If you already have a mask on, you will be let directly through. If you do not have a mask and do not want to accept one of our masks, we will kindly ask you to leave because we cannot allow this to happen. Here is an overview of what church looks like. The little X's surrounding the bottom section are chairs that are extra for people. Here is a virtual tour of what church looks like now. As you can see on the seats, there are little psalm sheets that get cleaned after each Mass. There are those wooden chairs which are signified by the little X's. As we move into church here, you can see that there is blue tape sectioning off pews that are not able to be sat in. This is so that the 6 feet is maintained with a distance between everyone. Let's move over to the cry room here. The cry room allows one family to sit in there, preferably a big family, to use up the space the most efficient way. Little seats surround the back section of church to try and fit as many people in. There are big projector screens with song lyrics and Mass parts on them. Here's another view of the tape on the edges of each pew. If there's tape there, please do not mess with it and please do not attempt to sit in that seat. There are little X's on the ground to signify 6 feet in between each one. And these are used for communion. Please stand on the X's and move to the next one once the person in front of you has moved forward. Here is an overview of how communion works with arrows pointing each direction. Pause the video if you need extra time. And here you can see that the Eucharistic minister will bring people communion. Please receive communion this way on the hand. As you can see, Sarah then makes her way around following the correct guidelines, sits down and takes off her mask, which you are able to do after you have been seated. If there is overflow in the parish church and you need seating still, you can move into the gym. Here's an overview of that, with X's signifying the communion line. Here is a view of the gym. Sarah sitting in one of the chairs in different amounts in different areas. Please do not move any of the chairs. They are spaced specifically to maintain the 6 feet distance. There's a screen where the live stream will be played. Here are the blue X's on the ground that signify the communion line. Communion will be brought to you, as Father said, during the Mass. Communion will be received this way in the gym. There will be 2 lines. There's only 2 of us, so we couldn't signify the second line. Here's an overview of the gym. Please, if you have a big family and can take up a lot of these seats, do it in one swath. Don't sit in a big section. Near the end of Mass, the ushers will place out the bulletins for you to take. Here is a diagram showing with arrows where each section A, B, C, and D will be exiting the church. Please abide by this. Also, please do not congregate in church as we need to sanitize for next Mass. Now we're going to move on to the second part of this video covering extraordinary ministers. Only 4 extraordinary ministers will be needed during Mass. This does not include Father. If a deacon is present, he will take up one of those positions, and if another deacon is also present, he will take up another one of those positions, leaving only 2 left for the extraordinary ministers. Also, please note that only Father or a deacon is allowed to go to the tabernacle and grab the ciboriums. Before leaving the pew, the extraordinary minister places the mask on their face, walks up to the sanctuary, and makes their way over to the table that has the pendants and Germax on it. A pendant is placed around the neck, and a pump of Germax is placed in the hand. The extraordinary minister walks around the sanctuary to reduce congestion and stands on top of a blue X on the ground. These can be seen here throughout the front of the sanctuary. Communion is distributed. Also note that one extraordinary minister will take communion to those in the cry room, as can be seen here, as well as to those seated in the wooden chairs surrounding the back of church and in the vestibule. Then, after distributing communion, the extraordinary minister will place the ciborium back there, make their way down to the table, take off their pendant, grab another squirt of Germax, make their way to their seat. For the third section, we'll be taking a look at ushers' duties. Upon entering the church, the usher will put on gloves as well as a face mask if they do not have one on already. For the collection, the baskets will be placed in multiple locations around the back of church with an usher watching over them. After all of the donations have been received, the collection baskets will be taken care of. Finally, the ushers will place out bulletins near the end of Mass, and the parishioners can pick them up on the way out. They will not be passed out as to reduce germs.